Back at the bus, back at it again with a episode review of Nemesis. Let's start off with the first couple of episodes. First of all, you said it, and I still wasn't ready for Magic Johnson being a straight Crip in this series.
Let's go, Lope.
I'll be honest. I liked some of his acting throughout these episodes, right? Because there's something to be said about a character that you hate just as much as a character that you love. Given what they're giving this character and the things that he does, I believe that him portraying the character in a way that makes us hate the character is him doing a good job as an actor. He just can't get right. Can't get out of his own fucking way. Coltrane told him not to take the fucking watch.
Fuck, the Clippers never win. First of all, that was your first sign you was about to die. You betting on the Clippers, cuz. What are you doing?
Crazy.
What are you doing?
But him taking the watch after Coltrane told him not to, decidedly stupid, and shows how much he can't get out of his own way.
Not just any watch, a $500,000 watch. Like one of the most expensive watches in the world.
That you know you can't get rid of or wear
stupid.
In general.
This dumb. This Philippe Protect that probably got a fucking GPS in it somewhere.
Even if not, it's a Patek. People are going to ask questions about it. Also, I went into the show thinking that Ilan Noel was going to do all of the acting here and that it wasn't going to really leave room for anybody to give me not bad performances, but I just kind of thought it was going to be him in a mile before the next actor. First of all, the crew that we have here, battle rapper Dumbfounded is crazy to me.
Who?
And the Asian guy.
Cho?
Yeah.
Cho's a battle rapper?
Yes.
Shout out to Cho.
And so he's been in multiple roles. He's been in, I can't remember which show with Aquafina. He does a really good job. The big guy, Stro.
Mm-hmm. Where he be battle rapping at?
He doesn't battle rap. You want to know what he does as a second job to acting, I guess? The first place I've ever seen this man, I've bought clothes from Fashion Nova before.
He's a Fashion Nova model?
He is the big and tall Fashion Nova model, like the one.
You are the only man in America that would recognize a Fashion Nova model.
I wear double XL. I've seen him before. For him to also deliver some of these acting
some pretty
scenes.
good performances. I felt like there weren't many duds. And early on, I got a little bit nervous because I seen a lot of power repeats. Obviously, Sax is the one that he steals the watch
Sax
from.
playing a rich guy is crazy.
There's a guy he steals the watch from. And what was it? Crurola, the bald white cop.
I can't remember what his name was.
Something like that. Corolla or something like that.
Oh, you were talking about the bigger guy.
Yeah, that was Proctor's brother.
Okay. Yeah.
Proctor's brother.
He took the daughter.
Yeah. Well, yes. And then Tommy showed up and had to kill him because he found out, all that other stuff. But anyways, it was a lot of power repeats in here. So yeah, I was like, I don't know, man. We don't really need to go this heavy on the power. But again, it's probably some mutuals here. Her and Courtney Kemp, him and Courtney Kemp. Yeah. Him and Courtney Kemp. And
I like the job of most of the black women here. The girlfriends of both Isaiah and Coltrane. I feel like
it did well. It did well. Candace's performance was pretty solid. I was wondering how well this was going to, how the relationship dynamic was going to play. I'm not really sure how old the actor is that plays Styles, but I definitely counted him as being younger than Candace because now in my mind I know how old Candace is from, she started out in the game. She was in her young 20s. So I know this is not like
a minute.
She's been around, right? So, I mean, she did fine. Obviously, the look was fine. Black don't crack. She looks terrific.
Yeah.
The acting was there, solid.
Mm-hmm.
Identifying some of the differences, I guess, in between this and Power very early on in the series. Some of the direct, like, spot on is that boy Noah. Noah and Tariq, carbon copies, boy.
That's a fact.
Carbon fucking copies.
That is a fact.
Rich kids, nice house, family unit. This nigga even got his grandparents in his life.
Rich. He's rich. I was gonna say, is Isaiah really rich? But
Man,
then we talked
they
about
rich
it.
enough.
Yeah, the Amiri and the Jordans
they
is
rich
crazy.
enough. First of all, yeah, your dad goes to lock niggas up in Amiri. Okay, you clearly live in a black suburb somewhere. Nice big ass house.
Yeah.
Your rich ass grandparents still in your life. Your mother is on a first name basis with the DA. Like, yeah, no, he's rich.
Your dad is spending
Is a
extra
lieutenant.
money to give to his dad for his bills.
He done spent $200,000 keeping this man alive over the years. Yes, he's rich.
No, they're rich. They're rich.
He's rich. And so every excuse in the world not to go down a certain road and still end up there, that's the age-old tale of Tariq. Now, the one thing I will say is that as the show goes on, they give far better reasons for Noah to end up on his criminal streak that he eventually ends up on in this season than Tariq ever had.
Facts.
Than Tariq ever had, because as I remind you, well before Raina ever got clipped, Tariq was already on his bullshit. In fact, the bullshit Tariq was on caused Raina's death.
Yes.
Directly.
Yeah.
I won't say that, Noah has gone quite that far.
Sure.
But there's some comparisons there. The one thing early on I recognized about this show, now I mean there's still time for it to go south. I mean the first 3 seasons of Power were excellent.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I've noticed in the very first episode, Courtney dedicates this season to her father. Right? And so the presence of fathers in this series as opposed to Power is night and day difference. I mean, you can go all the way from and it's not just one type of father, right? It's a spectrum. They show you the duality of man in all of these characters, right? It's not just, oh, well, dads always do this and they leave their families and the children eventually have to raise up to murder their fathers. That seemed like the running narrative of Power for the longest time.
It did.
You got Nightmare in there, who has a complicated past, right? And obviously is not the shining example of what a father is. You got Styles, who on paper is the polar opposite to his father, when in actuality, if you spend 5 minutes with the man, you understand that he is exactly the same, only he's just doing it under a different banner.
Yeah.
He repping a different gang.
Yep.
You got guys in there like, who's another dad?
Frank.
You got Frank.
From Moesha.
Right? Yeah, Frank from Moesha in there. That's Grandpa.
That's
obviously
rich. Very rich.
Obviously a little bit more straight-laced and judgmental, but probably could never say that he wasn't there for his children or ran out on them like you see Isaiah doing at certain points here in the early season. Isaiah takes his son to a coffee shop to talk about a girl that he likes, and you got to go bust your ass to go chase Wilder.
Right.
Right? You hooping with your son. You can't put your phone in your pocket long enough to actually hoop.
Yeah.
After you ruin Thanksgiving for everybody, up and strap on your dad at the dinner table. This man's a maniac.
Very much so. You said before I started watching it that bro was a thug, and I didn't get it because I wasn't watching it.
He was giving it off you could see it, you could tell.
It was
like
brother.
One of these characters in this whole Nemesis saga is a very calculated, smooth, well-presenting professional that even though he's wrapped up in criminality, he'll never show it to you at face value. Yeah. And another one is a loud, brash bull in a china shop, but has everything but disorder to serve. He's a cop.
Yeah.
He's a cop. His life is supposed to be structure and rules. He's supposed to uphold the structure and rules. And yet he is the most unruly motherfucker in the show.
He's the cop, but he shits on everybody too.
I said
the criminal
this,
doesn't.
I said this on Pantheon on Thursday. We didn't get into full spoiler talk, but we talked about the show generally. It's almost as like they set up this conflict between these two characters, right? And the entry points for both of them are supposed to make it very clear who's the good and bad is a little bit more simplistic than I want it to be. Virtuous versus endlessly ambitious.
Sure.
Right? And you would think that that's the criminal and the cop. And as it does not really, as the season progresses too far along, it's really in the immediate, it's really in the early stages. You can see very early on that one of these characters has a moral compass that surpasses the other. One of these characters lives their life off of obsession. Mm-hmm. The other one lives it off of trying to secure things for others. And you know, there are times that you could probably critique Coltrane. I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit more for sure. And it's not fully altruistic. Like, he's not a good guy. He's a murderer. He's a thief.
Yeah.
And he does things that aren't necessarily in the best interest of his family at points in times. Mm-hmm. However, throughout this series, you will see a common theme being that Coltrane will risk everything to protect his family, while Styles will literally risk his family for anything, like for any venture that he feels like is worth it. Yeah, any opportunity he has to advance his goals, he will take that over keeping his family safe.
Yeah.
And those two things can't be further apart when you talk about the worth of a man. So it's an interesting peek early on into, all right, how are their lives set up? What do they do on a day-to-day? What separates a cop from a criminal? And in all honesty, the lines are very blurred in this series. But I think the thing that you start out seeing and that lasts all the way through the finale is that Coltrane is a solid individual with family on his mind constantly. Mm-hmm. Styles is a solid individual, but has self-preservation and winning at the top of his mind almost constantly, and that usually gets in between him and his family.
But not for nothing, though. I think the point is that they blur those lines between the two of them. So, you know, as you mentioned, we'll see some things later on that Coltrane acts kind of recklessly at points.
At certain times. But what drives that, though? It's not self-motivated. It's not, oh, he ain't gonna beat me, I'm gonna show him.
It's
That's
more,
Styles' thing.
Family.
It's like you either are too close to something you're not supposed to be, or you touch somebody I care about.
Yeah.
It's not, oh, I gotta beat this nigga for the sake of saying I beat him.
There was obviously this thing held over Nemesis that was the urge to want to compare and contrast things to power, as we've kind of already done.
Yeah.
For me, it was specifically trying to compare Yolanda Noel's character, who is very obviously trying to get out of this life, Coltrane, who's very clearly trying to get out of this life, to Ghost, right? And seeing the ghost in him at times, but then accepting that he is not Ghost, but he kind of is Ghost at some levels, right?
It's very Ghost-esque. I think the fact that Ebony and Coltrane don't have any children, they just recently lost a child due to a miscarriage, makes the dynamics a little bit different. Tasha had built her fairy tale life already.
Yeah.
She had her kids, she had the penthouse, she had all the money, she had the successful husband. She didn't want to change a single thing.
Right.
Ebony recently experiencing tragic loss. Coltrane being a little bit more pragmatic than James. I don't think he had nearly the ambitions. I don't think he had nearly the type of ideas of where ultimately he wanted to go. The fact that they had a burn plan, the fact that they had a destination to run to and a plan to get there, lets me know that they were more realistic about their situations than Ghost and Tasha ever were.
And they were more on the same plane.
And they were on the same page as well. Like, this is a means to an end. This is where we want to be eventually. So, you know, this is how we make it happen. As opposed to Tasha really trying to keep him hamstrung towards the drug game, because that's what provided her everything. From the time she met Ghost to now, that is what built their life.
Yeah.
And so I just think that, you know, Ebony is a little bit more... Well, also, on that same strength, Coltrane allows Ebony to run point a little bit more than Tasha did.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like, early on, Tasha really didn't become a factor into the business until after her and James broke down.
Yeah.
You know, as a couple.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of another polar opposite that you're getting from Coltrane and Ebony. They move as a unit most of the time, or he at least checks with her and tells her, gives her updates, you know. it's flicking Tasha on her forehead for James. So it's a little different.